and welcome yet again to the Cardboard Cave podcast. And I'm super excited because today, not only we're back in the Cardboard Cave podcast, and I hope that you guys enjoy all of the content that it's on our YouTube channel right now. But today we're presenting a new podcast, a new show I'm not the host of it. I'm only doing the hosting for the first two episodes, and that's it. But in our social media we have not yet fully announced it, due to that we were still in talks in regards to what we're going to be doing. And now that everything has been set in stone and it's official, we are presenting to you guys a new podcast, a new show called Put It on the Table. What is this podcast going to be? It's going to be a podcast where we're going to be talking about board games. We're going to be talking about board games that are deck building games or miniature games, war games, everything and anything board game related is going to be talked in this show. But I'm not going to be your host. Like I mentioned, I'm your host for the first two episodes because we're just going to, you know, little by little in these two episodes, we're passing the mic to the actual host because my strong suit is only Magic the Gathering and TCGs, and that's it. But I'm going to go ahead and present to you guys. You might have seen him in the past if you have been following at least the content that I've created before. Might have seen him in Jar Gaming, but he's the only one of the members that continues saying yes to my crazy shenanigans. Well, not only that's he's not the only one, but the other one, I think if we tell him to come, he will come as well. But here we go. And oh yeah, and the confusion, guys. His name is John as well. But here we go. Present to you guys John Rivera.
Hey guys, so yeah, like I was saying, you other people might have actually known me before as Archimist. That's the other way that people should have known me as. I was the other half of this crazy show before, and as you know, yeah, I was the one that did agree to this idea because I am a fan of everything that's the board gaming world. So it's going to be a pleasure for me to actually be providing assistance to our querido John Ramos for this and to do all this board gaming related. I was there before and I was very fun on those worlds that it was dedicated all to how to go in a tabletop. I always was a fan of it, and I always wanted to bring this side of the world to other content creators.
Oh yeah, and one of the things that we want to do as well here in the channel, guys, is that we want to bring in more other like TCG content for you guys. Then, and we are in talks already. Me and Orengo are planning on playing the Goat format from Yu-Gi-Oh! With John. John, we spoken. We both have, and some of the other team members have Tabletop Simulator. So we might use Tabletop Simulator to play board games or to play like DC deck building. So we're trying our 100% best to bring all the content to you guys. Sadly, we would love to have our own studio one day, like that we can just do that everything in an actual table. But technology sometimes is powerful, and we're when we get the data we get monetized and we can say like, hey, we can invest in the studio, we can do this and this. When that day happens, I think that we're all going to go crazy and we might never get out of the studio. No, I'm just kidding. um,
Says you.
you know, so John, uh
Yeah.
just for like that everybody can know, this is going to be like a type of style interview just to introduce and like that you guys can get to know John. You guys know me, I'm just an idiot in the microphone, out the microphone. um so John, what got you into board games? What interested you in this other type of play? Because the fun story is that I met you, and when I met you, you were playing Magic the Gathering. That's how we got to know each other. Even though we got to know each other
Mm.
as well playing other trading card games, but Magic the Gathering was the one that like made our friendship like stronger off the bat. But throughout the time, you started liking more board games. Why is that? What intrigues you about board games?
So the fun fact for me was that in the board game related universe, I actually started playing the card games, but I always had a fun idea of what was the role playing sides before. So I was introduced to the world of, well, you know, that it's the classic Dungeons and Dragons. That's where we started on the actual side. I like that story building development, and I love how it was. Little by little, I got intrigued to the world of what it was, since I found an option that I don't have to have people. I can actually play alone, a board game option that I can try out. So I did found that as a tabletop, and little by little, I started trying out that. I then later on found the content of other people that are actually playing other games, and I'm like, wait a minute. So there's other things that, the jokes aside, other than Monopoly or Clue. So I decided to actually dig in more information about those games. I was interested in the moment that I found that there is a larger community with different varieties that we can actually try. Like you said, I found the first options that I actually got to get more involved with was the deck builders. That was the first one that I actually got to know as well, and it was fun because I did found that by playing with other people, you get another sense of another connection with people aside from just the video game world. And I was very fun on that side. I actually enjoyed seeing people laughing, seeing the ridiculous ideas we had in the games, and little by little, I just started getting the curiosity of, oh, what other games would be available for this? And it just became a habit for me to find what is the latest news, what has been on to the gaming world, and what are they creating yearly.
Okay, and it is true because I remember that as soon as as soon as you as soon as the group of people that we used to hang out with, when we used to hang out with a really interesting group. And the thing is that this group, all of them were playing Magic the Gathering. Commander was the most format that we would play, and then we tried to play like Modern and whatnot, but Modern was too expensive because we were college students, we were university students, so we didn't have money, we were poor. Um,
Yeah, bankrupt the wallet.
yeah, and the thing is that I remember that you would play Magic, but I think that 2 to 3 months in after I got to know you, that you were like you used to play Magic a lot, and then you stopped playing Magic and you started bringing like different board games. And I remember that because it was something that we would used to do. Like there was this bakery or little restaurant in front of Omar's store, or next to Omar's store, and we would play the games over there because the store owners would let us, you know.
Mm,
But besides the fact that you like board games, you like the intrigueness of. I imagine that you like the different mechanics and everything. But in between this whole world of different board games, what would be a board game that you really, really, really? What style of board games do you really like?
Okay, so my favorite style, I would actually agree more with what is either a survival game or what is the type of strategic styles. I've been very addicted to what is actually the miniature side because, well, who doesn't like seeing a model of what is a representation of a character that you're going to be using? And I've been very fun on what is Actually, my favorite types, like I said, I started first with role playing games, so that amplified my world on that side. And then little by little, I've been looking at not only what is the board game side, but I also have been looking at what is skirmishes. I've been looking at war gamers. I've been getting very intrigued into those sides. I like that not only the games that it's just dedicated with tabletop, but sometimes let's go off the grid and let's just see what we can invent on the world. So that's something also that I have loved.
Okay. Yeah, basically you're like me but with movies. I would play you're like I would play any board game because I just want to see what is the whole fuzz of the game or the mechanic or whatnot. And um and I just want to try it. Even though it's bad, it could be bad, but I just want to try it.
It's never bad. It's always, well, it's not my cup of tea. It might be for somebody else, but it's always something that it might not be for everybody, but you can always show it to somebody, and maybe that will be their first game, and that will be the favorite game for them.
You got a good point. You got a good point. And John, how what was this going to be? I'm gonna put you in the hot seat. This is like that. People can get to know you, and people can get to know me. But in your eyes, what
Okay.
was your first impression when you got to meet me? Because I don't remember exactly how we got to know each other. I know that there was somebody that presented to us, and then from there we ignored that person and we just started, hanging out more, hanging out a lot together. But what was your first impression of getting to know me the first time in Atlantic?
Okay, so the first time that I got to know you, it was actually funny because it was like I had an issue because the first time that we were called, it was just John. This is John, and I'm like, okay, so this is gonna be an awkward way of us to present ourselves. So hello, John. Hello, John. How are you doing? What are you like? And we started doing that conversation, and then the first thing that came up was the topic of you were building a deck that, if I remember, you were trying to make what was your version of a red mana combination,
Yeah, yeah, I
and
remember.
you were looking for some specific cards. And I remember that when you said I was looking for this, I said, wait a minute, I think I have that card that you're looking for. Oddly enough, that was when I always had. Uh, this is gonna sound funny for you people who will listen to this, but I used to have my back seat of my car filled with a trunk, and it had a box of magic cards there available for people.
Yeah, I
So
remember that. Wait, that was when you had the Camry, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and I was driving the Corolla, the busted out Corolla.
So yeah, looking at that, and you had to see that full trunk box filled with cards, and we were like, okay, you look at this portion, I look at this portion. Let's see if we can find it first of all. And it was that process of a long lookup. But after that, we just started hanging out with the idea of, oh, but if you make this deck, maybe this could work with this card, or maybe this one. And then we started trying them out against each other as well. And we also had that idea of we wanted to see how we could see ourselves in big leagues beyond those games. And I was always the one that was ending up buying a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember. I remember that we tried to like play professional back in the day, back in those times, but we didn't know nothing about like competitive play. So we would just go to like I remember that we would go to this store called Gaming Zone, and that was
Oh
like our
yeah.
spot. That was like our spot, and we would play anything because they had like a little corner with board games. I remember that um the first board game that I think that I was really intrigued in was we played the Resident Evil deck building game. Remember?
Hmm. Yeah,
And I
I
was
do
like, "What
remember.
is this?" I was like intrigued, and I remember that you told me, "Yeah, there is a version of this, but with DC superheroes." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Side note, that's actually getting more expansions of it.
Exactly, it's still getting expansions. I received an email from Cryptozoic that they're doing a new Teen Titans Go expansion. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, Jesus.
No, no, no worries. You're good right now, but they started a Kickstarter as well that is Arkham Asylum for them,
Oh,
and that's
nice.
coming out as well. So that's an extra to the extras that they're making of this
No,
game.
yeah. See, guys, this is what I'm saying. This is what you're going to be receiving in his content because, like, again, so like all of our listeners and viewers know, John is going to be posting videos on TikTok. He's going to be posting the podcast, obviously, and he's going to be doing a lot of things. We're going to go in detail on like the things that he's going to do in the next episode, and then from the third episode on, he's going to be the one giving me like, hey, this is what we're going to be talking about and whatnot. And probably the podcast will be 30 minutes. It could be an hour. We just want to give you content, but his knowledge in like what's gonna be available, what's not, what's going on is going to be 100% him because he is on top of it 100%. And as well, probably he might mix in other things, but I'm not going to give details until the next episode. So if you guys want to know, in the next episode. And um and John, be besides the
Mhm.
fact that besides the fact TCG and board games, one of the things that actually I think that this actually made a bigger impact to both of us, and it made our bond as friends much more stronger. Because just to let you guys know, we never got a class together in the university. We would see each other during like the those period of times that you have to like to go to the bathroom and go to the next class, or when it's lunch break. And this other funny part, we would always make a group and we would go to big like convenience stores or malls like that. We can just waste our time there and have fun. We were not the type of people that we would go drinking or anything. Our fun was playing board games and cards. But besides the fact that I think that what made our bond much more stronger was, and it's something that I will never forget, is playing Dungeons and Dragons with Peachy.
Yeah, he was
So
one of the persons that actually helped us more connect each other.
yeah, and guys, we were with a campaign with Peachy. I think that our first 2 years of university. On our second year of university, that's when we ended our campaign. We retired our characters and everything because they basically became gods and whatnot. Um, but Dungeons and Dragons was the actual game that like made a bigger bond between both of us. And and I think that it was great. And I think that D&D is still like your number one board game, right? Or game, because it's a little bit of
Uh,
everything.
yeah, in the gaming area, I would always say that Dungeons and Dragons was the one that hit my heart the most because that's the one that actually brought me into this world. I actually could say that I'm in love with everything that is related to the role playing side. To the fact that games from there, I've been getting games that are similar to it in different perspectives.
Okay. Like, what other games are there available for our listeners and viewers, like that they can know? What other games that are like D&D like are available?
Okay, so in those cases, we have examples. We have one that it's high budget game example first. This one is one that is a horror survival game that we have is called Kingdom Death. That's a game that if your character dies, it dies. So make a new one. That's sadly how it works. But we have other ones that recently came out, and it's been sticking out to a lot of people that it's Midara, the unintentional battle foe. That game is, let's say, your typical Dungeons and Dragons with a hint of the anime world. So if you're a fan to the anime and you like characters that way, that's a perfect game for you. So we also
Okay.
have, if I remember, I do remember that you were interested before on, let's not forget, Doctor Who, right?
Oh yeah, I'm still interested. Sadly, I have not found a play group to play and test the books. I am so sad about that because the thing is that, so guys, let's put it in perspective. Being the fact that D&D is technically speaking an open source game, you can use what D&D, like D&D as a platform, and go ahead and alter it, and you can make like your own like versions, because there's versions of Pokemon. There's some of them are most of them are unofficial, but official ones are like the one that John mentioned, um Doctor Who. There's one for Fallout that it's official, and there's different ones that they're out there. You can find the books, you can buy them, you can find miniatures as well. And
Yeah,
I've
have
always loved the Doctor Who one. It's something that I was like, oh my god, yes. And then I haven't found a group that knows a lot about Doctor Who to be like, yeah, let's do this. Sad.
so whoever listens to this and likes Doctor Who, please send him a letter, an email, something. Maybe you can get him involved into this world.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Imagine making a campaign of Doctor Who for the Cardboard Cave community. That would be dope. I like that idea.
That would be fun. I know I'll be dying the first part of the story. Take me back to the Dalek, whatever. I know I'm gonna die for that. But other than that, we also know that you do remember. We also saw, for our childhood memories, we were fans of the Power Rangers,
Oh
so they
yeah.
did their own version as well of that, and it's a license now, so it's official
Mm-hmm.
now. The Power Rangers
I think
RPG game.
if correct me if I'm wrong. The biggest investment that we both did was getting the Kickstarter for the Power Rangers miniature game.
Yeah. Am I allowed to say the price?
Go right ahead, bro.
Okay, so based on the first expansion game that it came out from there, we went berserk on our price tag, and we wasted $254, not including shipping, and that game. But we got everything that was available during that time. So it was the characters of the base game, but also the side that it was also adding the comic book villains and stories. Now that was actually the first time
Yeah.
I actually got to see uh good miniature work on them, and
Mm-hmm.
they're hefty. I did also got to see for the first time the bad Tommy that I did not expect that they were going to actually
The
make a.
Lord Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not expect it to him actually become a miniature, but it was a surprise expansion they did, and we were like, "Oh, we need this."
Yeah. It was super hilarious because I remember that um everything arrived to you because my address didn't work.
Yeah,
And I remember that we made plans a whole weekend to stay over the second floor of the bakery. And I remember opening the box with all of you guys having like multiple Power Ranger boxes on top of each other.
yeah,
That was a hilarious weekend. That weekend, holy cow, we did so much. I think that the craziest story, one, because we have many. I think that
yeah. You have to help me out.
the craziest story was just for everybody to know. So I went to visit my dad to Florida. I think it was for 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't had nobody. Nobody could pick me up on Friday. That was the day that I arrived. So John went ahead and picked me up. when I arrived to the airport, he picked me up and he was like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "I have no clue. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, dude. I really don't know." And he's like, "How about we go to the theater and watch a movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go ahead." So we went to Plaza. We went and watched the first Meg movie, the first Meg film, and I was so tired that I fell asleep halfway through the movie. And I woke up when the shark was about to like eat somebody, and I remember that I screamed the living shit out of everybody because I got scared. And then I think that we did something else in the mall, and we went, and then I told him like, "Hey, what's today?" He's like, "Don't you remember? It's Friday." I looked at my phone and I'm like, "Yo, I think if we leave now, I can make it to the tournament in Mayagüez." And we went from the mall, we went down to the store to Mayagüez. We went through Ponce that occasion, right? We didn't go to a normal
Yeah,
route. We went
yeah,
through the other route,
we
and
took the
then
speed route that day.
exactly. And then the thing is that John tells me, "Bro, but you're like so tired. Are you sure that you're good are gonna be able to play?" I'm like, "No worry about it. I got it." The thing is, guys, I ended. I think it was second place in that tournament. Freaking mad tired. We arrived to my house, and I think that I gave John everything that he needed to go to sleep, and I just died, literally. I
Literally.
touched the bed and I died. For the next day, because the next day there was another tournament that I was going to assist.
Literally. So the next day,
Literally.
and he said, "I gotta prepare. I have to do this. I have to build this." And I'm like, "Dude,
Yeah.
we just woke up."
Yeah, dude. And that was Saturday. And then I don't remember what store we went on Saturday, but then on Sunday, I went to another tournament. So just to let you guys know, by this time, I am actually playing professional Magic. I was driving John crazy with that.
Uh, yeah, to the point that anytime that he had an idea, I was the first one who had to hear it from him. So it's like,
Yeah.
"I'm thinking about going this place," and I'm like, "Are you telling me because you want me to go?"
Yeah, I remember that there was like a couple of tournaments that were in the metro side and we got to see each other because of the tournament. It was super fun. Yeah, it was good times. It was good times, good times. Um and John,
Yeah.
w- without giving 100% details on what type of content you're going to be providing to our viewers, what can the people expect from you and your content?
Okay, so on my side, I prefer giving you a general knowledge of what the game might be about, or getting you some hints about what's coming out. If you want to be interested in something that you might want to consider something for you to play, or maybe something for the family, and something that you might think that might be interesting for other people in your community, maybe bring that up to them, as well as giving you some ideas of how to make your games just a little bit hints more to the liking of the viewers as well.
Okay. And and what is something that what type of like besides the fact that we're going to have pre-recorded content, I imagine that one day they will ask, but I'm going to ask you now, will you do live streams on TikTok and or maybe YouTube?
I will try my best to actually be doing once in a while our live streams on that, and I will be showing some of my techniques and abilities that I have been learning from the board game community world.
Oh god. And I imagine that one of your one of your contents, that at least we can give at least this piece of information for them.
Oh,
One of your content is going to be on TikTok. They say you're going to be like choosing like a board game of the week and providing news via TikTok on the short form.
I would understand. Yes, I would actually be looking on that and providing general knowledge on that that's coming on that week's hot take.
Okay, that's awesome. And John,
Yes.
what what is something that you would like to like tell our listeners and viewers in regards to, not everybody is into board games, but what is something that you would like to tell them, like that they can like be pumped or get inspired to start playing other board games, that it's not Monopoly or the basic games that we usually play.
Well, I would always start with just give it a try. That's the first thing that I would always suggest. Because sometimes games that we find, we might actually find something that's linked to something that we actually enjoy. Um, like for the example, like you said, Mr. Ramos, when he actually got into his gaming, the first thing that caught his attention was also the deck builders. When he saw that that was an option available, it's something that you didn't expect that that will be a game that you will actually be enjoying. And it's good to, like I said, the same thing is for the community. We always give this chance to get to amplify our friendship with other people. They can give us some game tips, some ideas, and it's just another side of the world that we will actually enjoy. Uh, it's a welcoming community. Everybody always enjoys teaching you about others, about the games they have, or maybe they have fun, something that maybe you might actually see that you will enjoy as well. Uh, from the gaming community, there is always another branch that you can learn from. Maybe you can enjoy the world of what is aside from board games. Maybe you will enjoy the side of the skirmishers. Maybe you can enjoy the side of the wargaming side. That it was one thing that actually was something that uh, our other John had taught us before, because if it was thanks to him that I actually got interested in the warhamming in the community before the 40K. I was actually interested in that, and through that, I also got to know about the community of, why not? Let's just say it. We got the painting communities that their artworks are just out of the other world.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that all of us that play any type of like TCG, and I don't want to include video games because video games is like 100%. Everything is online nowadays. There's not LAN parties or anything like we used to do back in the day. But I think
Yeah,
that board games and trading card games and deck building games are the thing that we mostly love, and because the gathering is what we mostly love to do, and that is something that I think that it's very true to its knowledge and true to meeting new people and getting to know people, and just like that everybody can know right now. Before we start saying our goodbyes, so if you guys want to, um we are setting up our first Magic the Gathering competitive commander event. Is completely free. Is going to be on October 6th, from 1 through 5 in Plaza del Caribe in Ponce. Thanks to Nerdtopia to giving us the space, and we are already getting ready for that. On the link in the description, we'll have the registration and the information of the tournament, like that you guys can join in. We only have 12 spaces, only 12 spaces for it. So don't miss out if you are a Magic the Gathering competitive player or want to dabble in that space. Go ahead and join us that day. And as well, it's proxy free. So that means that you can use your proxies, you can make proxies, so don't miss out in that. Now, John, final
Yes.
question for you today. What is a board game that you would recommend right now for anybody that it's available to buy?
Board game that is available to buy. Okay, so let me see because this is gonna be a good option to see. So I just need to think what it would be their base like because if it's strategic, then the most direct to the point, I would say Zombicide is a very one that is quick to the point, kill zombies and try to survive technically. But we also have uh, classic, and whoever knows this, maybe Cards Against Humanity. If you want to laugh out loud for the funs of things that we could just come up with ridiculous ideas. You can also think about the deck builder game, like for example, just what John said. DC deck builders is a great option as well for you.
Okay. And John, like that being the fact that we're saying our goodbyes, where can the people follow you? Because I know that this time you do have social media.
Okay, yes, I did have to make it. I'm sorry for before, but yes, I do. So, if you want to see what I do for my dedication to the miniature universe, you can find me in Instagram as J Perspective. You can find that artwork that I do there. Yeah, you can also find me on Twitter, in this case, or should we call it X? I'm still getting used to that word.
I
So
always call it Twitter. So psh,
it's whichever. so
yeah.
so there you can find me, and my character's name is Artemis, so you can find me there as well. And you can find me on Facebook as John Rivera. I'll be glad to show you and provide you all the things that we're going to be doing in this connection with us from here on now.
Okay, and guys, I say my social media handles, remember, if you guys want to spice up your commander or your decks in the Magic the Gathering scene, don't forget, go to altersleeves.com/cardboard cave, or use our affiliation code Cardboard Cave, and you can get 10% off your order. And as well, you can spice up your commander and make it look more pristine than it is. Even though if you have foil cards or expensive cards, hey, how about you if that card does not come foil, or probably you want to have an alternate artwork on it, then go to Alter Sleeves, and then you can get 10% off using our link and our code. Now you can follow me. If you want to follow me in like my personal side, you can go to Cinema Dad PR in Instagram, but follow us in all of our social media. Let it be YouTube and or TikTok. We're about to reach 3,000 followers on TikTok. So if you have not yet followed us, go ahead, click click the link on down below, like that you can follow us in all of our social media. We are bringing more things for you guys, so don't miss out. And next episode, like if this was a series, it is, but in the next episode of Put It on the Table, John and myself, we are going to talk about what type of content John is going to be bringing to you, and as well what to expect as well in his content. So if you guys love it, comment below and tell us what you would like to see in the board game space, and we will see you guys, hey, in the next one.